This sister says,
I have a question for Muslims. It's a genuine question. So in the hadith, Muhammad is talking about a prophet who was pierced, and that prophet was killed by his people, and he was bleeding. And that prophet called out to God and said, "Oh Lord, forgive my people as they do not know." Jesus says the same thing centuries before Muhammad. Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. So my question is, if Islam denies the crucifixion and the resurrection of Jesus, who is that particular prophet that was bleeding and it was pierced by his own people? Let me know what you think.
now my sister, what you're trying to do is just to set our mind to think that whoever prophet we are talking about was Jesus by mentioning words which are actually not in the hadith. You said the prophet was pierced and the prophet was killed. None of those words was in the hadith. What was mentioned was the prophet was beaten, the prophet was wounded and was wiping blood off his face, but you clearly misquoted it, having displayed it. The Quran is very clear and straightforward as it says about Jesus. Peace and blessings be upon him, that وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ, he was neither killed nor crucified. If you were somebody who actually believes in whatever you are reading, you would say, okay, this is what the Muslims believe. But you want to look for something to fit your understanding of Jesus' crucifixion. The Quran speaks about people like you as it says, هُوَ الَّذِي أَنزَلَ عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابِ, it is he that sent you a book. مِنْهُ آيَاتِ مُحْكَمَاتِ, it has verses which are precise and clear, straight to the point. Hunna umul kitab, and they are the foundation of this book. Wa ukharu mutashabihat, that some verses are unspecific. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ زَيْغٌ, as for those in whose heart is deviation from the truth, فَيَتَّبِعُونَ مَا تَشَابَهَ مِنْهُ, they follow that which is unspecific, that which is corner, that is which is not clear. اتَّبِغَ الْفِتْنَةِ, when they are seeking interpretation of their own, you are trying to fit in whatever you are believing in whatever way. Quran is very clear. Now, if the Quran says Jesus was not crucified, and there is a hadith speaking about being beaten and saying, Lord, they don't know what they are doing, who are those prophets? The Quran answers by saying there are very many other prophets who were killed by their people. None of their names were mentioned. It was not one prophet, not two prophets, but very many. For example, it says in a verse, فَلِمَا تَقْتُلُونَ أَنْبِيَاءَ اللَّهِ min qabl, that why do you kill the prophets of Allah that came before? In kuntum mu'minin, if you are truly believers. And the answer was given, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ كَانُوا يَكْفُرُونَ بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ, that is because they used to disbelieve in the verses of Allah. Those people killed the prophets. وَيَقْتُلُونَ نَبِيِّينَ بِغَيْرِ حَقٍّ, and they killed the prophets unjustly. Now the Quran is speaking about people killing their own prophets, very many of them, but doesn't mention their names. So if I'm to be like you, should I also ask you about the names of those prophets? Your question was, if that prophet says the people do not know what they are doing and they are beating the prophet, you want to know who that prophet is. I tell you, there are very many other prophets who were killed, but the names were not mentioned. If you think it is Jesus, the Quran tells you no, it is not. About Jesus, he say, وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ, very clear. Unless you are looking for interpretation of your own, looking for discourse, because you are deviating from the truth, just as the Quran said. You get the point? Assalamu alaikum.